What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Rant. You're watching Sub Urban Nerd. This channel will give my nerd views on today's nerd news. Well, this is a thing that I started a while ago, but I'm bringing it back called Wes Rant. Well, anyways, this has to do with the Sony and Disney deal. Like, what the fuck? Because that's all I gotta say, because it makes no sense as far as this is like a child. This is like a child watching two of their parents fight. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see this. And all I can see is like when I heard this news, at first I was pissed off. Everyone was pissed off at Sony. Like, Sony, what's going on? Why are you being stingy? Because before Spider-Man was in the MCU, everybody was like, yo, just give it back to MCU. Let them take over and whatever. But after they kind of figured out this way of working together, the synergy it clicked, It just felt good, and the movies have been good. And it's just like, why mess something up like that? Because, believe it or not, this was Disney made the deal in the first place. The 5%, Disney made that deal. They said they loved the deal, and then they try and change it up on it. And I can only imagine what happened, because after finding all the news, this is kind of like what I think, how it went, right? Like, say Disney called, say I'm Sony, and this is Disney, right? So like,
hey Sony, it's Mickey.
Hey, what's up, Mick?
We're doing okay. Me and the gang were just wondering.
The gang?
Yeah, the gang, the Disney gang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were just thinking, we love working with you guys.
Oh, we love working with you too.
Hey, let me finish.
Okay.
So we do love working with you. We were just wondering, or we're thinking that this whole agreement we got, the 5%.
Yeah?
Yeah, that can't fly anymore.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, we were thinking around the lines of 50-50.
50-50 of what? Spider-Man? Or
50-50 of everything.
everything like what?
Yeah, Venom, Craven the Hunter, Morbius, pretty much anything dealing with Spider-Man.
Okay, that's a lot. How about we do like 70-30? That seems fair, right?
No, I don't think we can take that.
But aren't you being a little unreasonable? Because...
Unreasonable? No, we think it's very reasonable. You were nothing until we came.
No, we weren't nothing.
So, 50-50, or you die.
Damn, Disney. Damn, Mickey. Like, really? Can we...
Have a nice day.
Damn, you could... Okay, just... Anyways, that's how I think it went down. But people don't know the facts. People don't know the facts because they think Sony was just being greedy or something like that, wanted to do. Because Sony was cool with that. Because Disney out of nowhere came by and was like, literally, like, yo, 50-50. And what they want to do is, it isn't just 50-50 of Spider-Man, like you heard. It's 50-50 of everything in the franchise. And they want to finance 50%. Now, with them doing that basically means they have 50% control. So any IPs that come from Spider-Man, like say Night Monkey, that they came up with the name in the Spider-Man Far From Home movie, yeah, Disney could make a movie off of that. And the thing is, there's no benefit really to Sony. Sony doesn't get any of the merchandise. Disney has 100% of merchandise. So no matter what movie Sony comes out with, it's Disney that gets the money from all the toys, all the action figures, all the, like, pretty much anything that they can do, the board games, anything they can do with Spider-Man, that's all Disney, right? Now, then you take the fact that them putting in that money, granted, everyone thinks like, oh, just let these, like Disney finance it. What's the problem? You're getting, like, it's going to be less money for you to spend. But yes, but at the same time, it's like they don't have the full control over it. And then that's not just Spider-Man. That's Venom. That's Morbius. That's Craven the Hunter. Anything that they come out with. If they allow Disney to finance 50% with that deal, then it's not going to work. Now, Sony was willing to just give 30% to Disney without them having to do shit. Because pretty much everything that you've seen so far, yes, they've been working with Disney. And Disney has been, like, having the, storyboard and all that, whatever. But Sony's paid for it. Sony's paid for the directors. Sony's paid for the screenwriters. Sony's paid for the what's it called? specialist or the cinematographer. They paid for everything. They paid for the actors. They paid for the advertising, believe. They paid for everything. Disney literally just had to sit back and get 5%. And that was the deal that they made. But then they wanted 10 times more, and that's unreasonable. Any business person would not, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. They were willing to give 30% on all Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man, not the spin-offs. But Disney doesn't want this money off of the Spider-Man. They want it off the other spin-offs. And that's crazy. So anybody that's you hear talking about it saying, come on, Sony, why just give it to Disney? Like, think about it. They've made money. They don't lose money on Spider-Man. From the time that Spider-Man first came out, they've made no less than $700 million. The highest is like $900 million. So before this whole deal with, Disney came about, they were making profit. That was the only IP that was holding them afloat. And you think they want to give it away? Because remember, Sony was in turmoil. And yes, making that deal with Disney did help them. It did make them boost, and now they're buying things. They just bought Insomniac, the makers of the new Spider-Man 4 game. Yes, they did that because they're in a better place now. But still, even though it might have been helpful for Disney to come in and just change the deal, this is what I equate it to. I said it's like, say for instance, it's three friends, right, that grew up together. You got your boy, say it's me, and then my boy and this girl. We're all friends. And then we grow up, whatever, and I kind of be like, yo, I push my boy, and he starts dating a girl, and then they get married or whatever, and they're having, a good relationship. And then I come in there like, yo, I like this dynamic that we have, like your girl, she's a good wing girl, we go to the clubs, she gets me girls, whatever. It's kind of cool and all, but I was just wondering if we could kind of split her 50-50. Be like, what? 50-50? What do you mean 50-50? Like, what you get, I get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel I deserve this. Seeing how I introduced you guys. I mean, like, whoa. How about, you like her cooking, she can cook for you, and like you guys can chill, hang out or whatever on your own, whatever. But you can't have my girlfriend like I have her. I'm like, nah, I think that's I think that's pretty fair. 50-50. Before it was like, 5%, you did your own thing, she helped me with, no, but I think I deserve half. Like, whatever you get, I get. So that's pretty much how I feel. I know it's a weird kind of scenario, but I feel that's what it is. So I don't know what's gonna happen. There's still talks that it may work out because, and also, what was it that, Disney doesn't give Sony anything for any movie that Spider-Man's in. So Endgame, Sony got nothing for that. Infinity War, Sony got nothing for that. Anything that they that includes Spider-Man into them, they make all the money and don't have to give Sony anything. So it's like, really? So this deal is still gonna go. So you not only want half of everything dealing with Spider-Man, but you keep all the money off of merchandising, and you keep all the money when Spider-Man's in any movie that isn't ours. Really? You tell me if that's a good deal to you. Because I don't. So, like I said, hopefully there's still talks that they may work it out. Hopefully Disney, stops being so greedy and accepts that 30-70. But hey, regardless, they don't need them. Because I tell you like this. What happened at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home? The end credit scene. The one where everyone knows about Spider-Man. Everyone's like, how can that work out? I tell you like this. If Sony doesn't go back to Disney, it can still work out. Why? Because if you retcon that end, the movie still works. You can make movies after that with MJ, with anybody, with Tom Holland. You can even maybe introduce him to the Avengers. You don't have to have anything to do no longer with the MCU and just continue along. Just pretend, because the only way you can get out of that whole situation where everyone finds about Peter is continue with the MCU, with Doctor Strange maybe wiping everyone's mind, or the Skrull pretending that it was an imposter or whatever. That's the only way. But without them, you just retcon whatever happened at the end, continue on, and they can work. So Disney doesn't need Spider-Man. Sony doesn't need Disney. They can still work without it. But they've made Spider-Man like he's integral in the whole thing. He's the next Tony Stark. He's taking over after him. So we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen after that. But regardless, hey, that's my rant. I just had to get it out there. People think that, Sony's on a bad. No, they're not. It's Disney that's the asshole right in this scenario. We all love Disney, but hey, they fucked up. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening to my rant. I know it's been a little bit long since I've been this whatever. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you agree. So comment down below if you think, if you agree to any of this. And also to, remember to like this video, share it with the people. Remember to subscribe. Check out my last Wes Rant, which is a while ago. Check out my playlist of Wes Rant. Remember, I'm Wes Rant. You've been watching Suburban Nerd, and you just murdered Nerdified. Catch you guys on the next rant.